aunties always warn me to stay up off the street, cause he's tucking heat, yeah, the feeling of defeat. And constantly finding ways to level up my mind state. Ain't no justice for us, you could peep it in the crime rate. I left behind all those trying to set me up like a blind date. That duo sizzle just like a hot plate. Zooming on the Jackie like we got weight. I mean, it's just a few grams, but I got faith, cause I was born an interfaith. Tell them plug me in like the interface. Speakers blasted, shake the flowers in the vase. Learning to break out of my commonplace. Still trying to be, so I let common play. They calling me Illmatic, I'm the modern day. Wanna go toe to toe, tell them I'm delayed. Mommy go E-I-E-I.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now. Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, people.
Welcome back, James. Man, it's good to have you back. It's not the same when you're not here, brother.
Man, I missed y'all yesterday, especially because I wasted my dang on time, but we're not going to talk about it.
I'm just imagining you're saying something amazing, man. I know whatever you're saying is awesome, and I know the people missed you like crazy yesterday. Rebecca, how you doing this morning?
Right.
There we go. No, I need to hear Bubba's voice. Bubba, sweetheart.
Oh, y'all can hear me now? Hey, y'all.
Yes.
See, I tried to do it without saying that we couldn't hear, or with y'all just...
They...
Throw it the way that
well, I didn't know. Look, I didn't know if the people could hear Bubba or not, or was it just us? I just didn't know. Okay.
No, I always assumed that they could that they could hear them, especially because they would yell, they would let us know. The audience will quickly let us know.
They would definitely let us know real quick.
I'm not in the comments. I don't have it up anymore because when I have it up, I can't hear you guys. It's always a fool. So I don't know what's going on.
You just put it on mute and then you can.
Right.
I try to do that, but then I get all
caught up in the comment
ADD.
section.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
No, that's
yes,
fair.
but James Bubba, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I missed y'all so much yesterday.
Tell them people, don't they bother you no more in the morning times? Like this
man,
is your
right.
time.
This is my time. Leave me the hell alone, okay?
He need to be at the people's job, okay? Until they free us, then we'll start saying, you can't take my morning.
Right. I was just about to say it, but I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't say it yet. I still need to maintain this check for the time being. Look at Ben, Rebecca.
I got no comment.
Ben don't got no comment because he don't live that life right now. Ben,
Okay,
what I was thinking the other day, though? Ben, what I was thinking the other day? I remember when they tried to, and this just lives rent-free in my head. Now, all I'm going to do is brick by brick.
Oh, my God. Why are you like that? Oh, that was so inside joke that we can't even tell the people what we're laughing about. Good morning to everyone in the chat rooms. Be sure to hit the share, like, and subscribe button. Rebecca be constantly like setting up stuff for me to mess up business relationships as I try to expand this thing to make sure that they can get away from those corporate overlords. She be throwing people under the bus. It ain't just Dwayne she throw under the bus anyway. But no, it's just not the same without you here, man. The joy that you bring to the show, we got to talk to the people. Yeah,
definitely.
I appreciate that, y'all. I really do.
Ben could never be.
I was like, oh.
Ben could never be you, Bubba. Ain't no way. And I could never be you, Bubba. There's no way. And
why is that even something to say? Like who?
Because yesterday when Ben texts you. When Ben texts you, look, Bubba, yesterday when Ben texts you, don't ever miss a show again, I didn't.
Wait a minute. Hold on. That's not how it was said. That's not, hang on. Like, you ain't see Rebecca steady?
Ben was in the text message like, don't miss work at all no more. And if you miss work again, I'm going to find you.
Hang on. I said, I don't want to do another show without you, Negro. Smiley face.
Same thing. It was almost like, don't you ever like leave me with Rebecca
Don't you ever miss the show again?
And don't leave me with Rebecca by myself. That's like it was like torture.
I have to put it on the screen to make sure there's nothing inappropriate here, because y'all know we be tripping on the chat room.
Man, right, man.
Hold on. I'm checking to make sure I can put this up the screen. You ain't gonna make a lie out of me, Rebecca Azor. Hey, there it is.
You said that. You said what you said. You just corrected it. However, it's still the same. Just in my words. Listen, I felt like in that moment, Ben wrote that because he was like, I had to be stuck with Rebecca, and that's not the way I want it. But without Bubba, nonetheless, this is not a thing, and we need you to be free.
No, it's a package deal.
Giving us joy every
morning.
Package
deal.
It's a package deal.
Like watching and not being on the show and watching, if that makes sense. It was really different. Just like watching the phone, just like, okay, I kind of want to be there. This sucks.
That's how Rebecca is. She be in the chat room like,
the club.
how you gonna hate from the outside? You can't even get in.
That's me. And then I be so mad. Then I jump into the comment section. Hey, beloveds, it's me.
Okay.
She jump in there so she can get some love from the audience. And everybody be like, "Oh, Rebecca, where are you today, Rebecca?
Oh, Rebecca,
Because I love them, and I know one thing about the audience: they gonna have my back. That's one thing about the audience. They definitely gonna have my back, and they gonna love on me too. So it's good.
Okay. But you know what though? They have all our backs, because when I tell you they go hard for all of us, man, and Ben especially, boy, they go ham for Ben.
Ben is their leader. Ben is like literally. Ben is they could give 2 damns about what me and Bubba got to say.
No,
as soon as if Ben don't say nothing in the whole show, they're gonna be like, we like.
Oh no, they would say that. Yeah.
Well,
I gotta say something.
We liked Rebecca and Bubba, but Ben, we need your voice. Ben, we need your voice. Ben, you weren't speaking. Ben, you let Rebecca speak too much on this one.
Yeah.
Then, there was a little bit too much music. I didn't like how much music was on the show today.
It was too much music. Why didn't Ben talk enough?
Ben, control it. Ben, control it.
Ben is
if
we really go
on the intro.
Oh my God. I can't get a break around here. I can't get a break. I can't catch a break, bro. It's all good. Let's talk some news before we have a whole. Some jokes I got to catch. I had to catch that joke and bring it back in. Let's talk. I want to talk. But this is a serious topic. But we're I don't know to what extent we're going to be covering the Derek Chauvin trial. We'll probably just be updating you here and there. But Derek Chauvin is the murderer of George Floyd, the white police officer, Minneapolis police officer who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd for 8.5 minutes, and to the point where he died. That trial began yesterday. The trial was held up. The jury was seated, and they held up the trial because of the possible reinstatement of third-degree murder charges that is being considered. The judge, it says that the trial will resume today. Now, Rebecca and James, I'm not really one to give a play-by-play on these particular trials, because the closer I personally get to those trials, and then to see the constant miscarriages of justice, it just does something for me. So for anyone in the audience who's wondering how much we're going to cover it, honestly, it's going to be up to the extent, Rebecca, that you and James, that you guys absolutely want to talk about it. Because if it's up to me, we'll just keep our eye on it to know whether or not we need to take to the streets when it's all said and done. That's my take. What are you thinking, Rebecca?
Definitely. I think that as much as I hate to rehash it, I think it's important for us to cover it. Sometimes we cover some things that to me aren't as important. We don't have to go into the details of replaying the moment, but as far as covering it and keeping the new developments going, yes, we do. I think that is our duty. If we can cover them other BS stories, we can cover these. And I think it's important because I really want to either continue to show how messed up the system is, right? Or continue to show that because of our voices and our movement, we have brought this to where it is today. Like, just continue to push it. And it's good to follow it too, because I'm praying that something happens in this particular situation. I'm hoping that something happens in this particular situation. And if we keep our eye on it, it's like good juju to me. Like if we continue to just kind of push these stories, something's gonna happen.
See, I think the opposite way. Like for me, it's like if I watch it, I feel like I feel like I jinx stuff when I watch it. If you talk about juju, but I mean, I feel exactly what you're saying. It's just I get so James. I don't know about you, but like I get so tied up into these trials because as I watch them in real time, you can see the BS happening in real time. I'm thinking back to the George Zimmerman trial, the murderer of Trayvon Martin and all the missteps. I don't know if you remember that trial, but what is it? How do you feel about the not only just the coverage, but just this entire process? We get taken through it every so many years. We have one of these major trials where we have to relitigate the worthiness of a black man or a black woman's life.
If I had to be honest with y'all, I agree with both of y'all. It's one of those things where I do want to get it covered, but I feel you is like I watch it and I feel like I'm going to jinx it or something because, and I hate to say it like this, y'all, I really do. But the facts of it is, excuse me, and if you really think about it, going on with the perception or the mindset that we already know what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah.
And I hate to feel like that, but that's how it feels. They push all this stuff out, of course, to try to get it out of people's head and get it out of people's minds. So they keep prolonging it and keep pushing it back so far back so that they're hoping that you forget about it. So then once they get to the court system, then the courts rule, okay, not guilty or some other BS ruling, and nothing happens. So I just hope that this is not the case. I just hope that everything that has gone on over the past year shows people that the justice system can do right.
Yeah. Rebecca, I saw you tweeted or you retweeted or maybe you just shared it with me, the correction that a lot of people are making to ensure that everyone in the media does not call it the George Floyd trial because he's dead. He's the one. He's the victim. Right. And a lot of times we with the Trayvon Martin quote unquote trial, right? We had to correct that all along the way. But it's important, right? It's important that people understand because they will put George Floyd on trial in this trial for Derek Chauvin in order to help get Derek Chauvin off. They're going to try to convict a man that's already dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's important for us in the media who are going to cover it. And again, I think that we should definitely follow up on the developments. And if, I'll lead the stories because I know how sensitive this can be. This affects us all in different ways. And sometimes, it makes us angry and things like that. But again, I'll be the one to lead, those moments. But when I do, I have to make sure myself, because sometimes in the way that we word these things, we present George Floyd, he is the one that was murdered. And we have to make sure this is not the George Floyd trial. This is not the George Floyd case. This is Chauvin case. So this is why it's important for us to make sure we're talking about the murderer, what he did, keep that in the media, because I think that helps people understand what the real conversation is about, what the real story is. Because if we keep talking about George Floyd, those pictures are going to pop up. Not of the murderer, and not that because we've said George Floyd enough. George Floyd, we know who he is and we know what happened to him, but now we need to know who this murderer is, what he looks like, what he did, and what he deserves. Okay? Yeah. So that's why it's important. A lot of times, mainstream media, we already know how they do. They'll start posting up George Floyd pictures, and that will be what is in people's minds. And then they'll say the case was too emotional. Those kind of things. We got to make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure we focus on who the trial is about.
Yeah. So we're going to keep our eye on it, and we're going to bring you updates about this trial as it goes along. But and you're right, Rebecca. It does something to a lot of people, and it hits people in different ways. And it's just a frustration because we consider this. People say, "Oh, we're trying to get justice for George Floyd." But I think it was our friend Noah Changa who said justice would have been not killing him in the first place, right? And in this case, this is not justice. This is simply accountability. And we've seen this system time and again never hold police officers or these vigilantes accountable. And it's only in the rarest of occasion that we get an actual conviction. And even in that case, it's not justice served. It's simply accountability, because justice would not be killing black and brown people, black women, black men in the first place. But this is what we are faced with in this country every single day. I want to shift gears really quickly to some updates on COVID-19, updates on the vaccination. We have been announced by the CDC that people who have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 can meet without masks indoors in small groups with others who have been inoculated, but should avoid non-essential travel and continue to wear face coverings in public. The Biden administration said on Monday. The CDC said fully vaccinated people should continue to follow avoiding large in-person gatherings, wearing masks when visiting and with unvaccinated people from multiple households, or wearing masks when they are with people at risk for severe COVID-19. The data still hasn't shown whether or not vaccinated people can spread the virus to unprotected people, and the risk of vaccinated people spreading the disease is still possible. Let's take a look at this clip with the CDC guidelines.
As more Americans are vaccinated, a growing body of evidence now tells us that there are some activities that fully vaccinated people can resume at low risk to themselves. This is why today, CDC is releasing its initial guidance for the public that, for the first time, lays out some of the activities considered safe for those who are fully vaccinated. When I say fully vaccinated, I mean people who are 2 weeks after their second dose of either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines, or 2 weeks after a single dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Today's initial guidance, it's important to note that we are focusing on activities of fully vaccinated people can resume in private settings, such as their homes, under two scenarios. The first scenario is fully vaccinated people visiting with other fully vaccinated people. CDC recommends that fully vaccinated people can visit with other fully vaccinated people in small gatherings indoors without wearing masks or physical distancing. Remember, here we are talking about private settings where everyone is vaccinated. When fully vaccinated people visit with unvaccinated people, we have to consider the underlying risks of the unvaccinated people and any unvaccinated members of their household. We take this approach because all of our guidance is rooted in making sure we are keeping people safe. So, CDC recommends that fully vaccinated people can visit with unvaccinated people from one other household, indoors, without wearing masks or physical distancing, as long as the unvaccinated people and any unvaccinated members of their household are not at high risk for severe COVID-19 disease.
Now, I want to give you one other update. This is news out of Brazil. The Pfizer vaccine is being reported to neutralize the variant, the Brazilian variant that is spreading, basically meaning that at least the Pfizer vaccine has been documented as being effective against one of the mutations of COVID-19, which is amazing news. And there's still a lot of more research, a lot of more data that has to be gathered. I'm still, Rebecca and James, I'm still like, this is good news. But I don't know if I'm going to be going to any kind of indoor gathering anytime soon, vaccine or not. But I mean, I know for a lot of people who are anxious to get out and do something, like, this is really good news.
Well,
Man,
I'll be at the indoor gatherings as soon as they shoot me up with the drugs. Okay.
2 weeks after, sister. 2 weeks after.
Yes, 2 weeks after, of course. But
Rebecca said, "Get me free.
get me free from everything." I just really, I can't anymore. Like
Give Rebecca freedom, y'all, please.
Yes, and I really would love for. I'm not going to be now the full gatherings like we were discussing yesterday, Ben.
Yeah.
Like what was happening during Atlanta weekend or whatever, All-Star weekend. That you will never find me where people are shoulder to shoulder. I just want to go back out and wind my waist. I want to go back out and, drink Haitian beer with people and have a good time and just that, be in my environment, dance, sweat it out without being scared that somebody sweat them flicked over and now I got corona. Okay, because that's what people think. And that's not true. Don't. I'm not the CDC, but that's how I think, right?
Yeah.
But I'm ready to hit the streets.
No, I'm pretty sure it's accurate that if you're close enough for you to be sweating, that you're spreading corona. So yeah,
both
so
coronas.
I'm ready to hit the streets.
Corona
I'm ready to dance.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, no, I ain't trying to get that, sweetie. Not for no Haitian dancing, no. But I'm ready to be out there in the streets, though. I am.
Yeah. My anxiety, James, won't let me.
Oh man, dude, to me that was too much. It's like taking the test, bro. I'm just gonna stay in the house. Give me the vaccine. I'll still be in the house because that's like too much stuff to remember. Okay, so I can go to somebody else's house that's fully vaccinated and I can chill with them. But if I go to somebody's house that's unvaccinated, I only can choose one other person's house and they can be unvaccinated, no mask on, but I can't go to the other person's house. Okay, it's just too much. I'm gonna stay home. I'm good.
But but see, here's the thing though. Like it all boils down to the things that people think they do with their mask, right? If your whole family is vaccinated, chill with your family, period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you need to go to somebody else's place, make sure that they're not high risk. It's the same thing. Make sure they're not high risk. They ain't got corona. You could chill with that person. Now, usually that's somebody's partner. I would choose my partner too. But usually that's somebody's partner or whatever the case may be, or you're their best friend or a close family member. Because that's how people, I would say, are generally been doing it. Now, as far as going around other people, it's like you have to just do what we've been doing. Going around other people for long periods of time that are not vaccinated, that's just the stupidity that people have been doing. But as for me in my house, at Like It or Not, we have been smart enough not to be going over to folks' places and being surrounded by them for long periods of time, unless it's a check. Like Bubba, you had to go DJ a few times and you knew, let me stay masked up, stay away from my booth area or whatever the case may be. But, and I'll go somewhere and then come home and be like, damn, I got to quarantine. People aren't quarantining anymore.
Yeah.
So,
they're not. They're really not.
So what y'all should do, I think y'all should do is like just, get a little caravan of all your peoples, your entire circle, everybody who you are, and y'all just go to these mass vaccination sites and just get your whole crew, get your whole, all your variants. All your substitutes, all your fill-ins, get your whole starting lineup, get them vaccinated so that y'all can be at peace and not be worried about.
You want to come? Side dude, you too? Look, let me send a group text to everybody. Whoever texts back first. Let's go.
Let's go on the phone like, hey, you want to go get vaccinated? Okay, cool.
No. Back in the day,
hey,
it used
you
to
want
be
to go
like,
get vaccinated?
Whoever when they were like, hey, I'm hungry, and y'all done sent that I'm hungry text to like 20 people. Whoever responded, I'm going to get vaccinated, and whoever responded. No, it makes sense.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that at all.
That's crazy.
Rebecca?
I clearly don't know anything about that. That said, y'all go get vaccinated and be safe out there. Don't be like Atlanta. Man, I've seen I got a whole lot of friends and family in Atlanta, obviously, right? And I saw videos of some folks I know who were just at the strip club. And not nary person in that club had on a mask. And you're talking about like just on any given, it was like, what's really going on, folks? So please don't be like a lot of folks we know here in Atlanta. Please continue to wear your mask. Go get vaccinated, stay indoors, and follow those guidelines that you're going to have to rewind because I can't remember them all. But there are a lot of them saying that you... Go ahead, Rebecca.
If you had to choose which state had was leading in the coronavirus outbreaks because they just letting everybody in, what state would it be and why Atlanta?
This is why I don't go anywhere.
And Atlanta's not a state, but it's just the city that takes over like it is the damn state of Georgia. And
like Miami and Florida.
Why is it Atlanta? Because I know that's going to be your answer.
It's going to be. I might say like Texas because because every state is cutting up, right?
Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas.
Texas right. Now Atlanta Texas started off a little quiet in the mix. Atlanta has been like coronavirus. Who? Not over here. It's Wakanda. It's Wakanda. Ain't no coronavirus over here.
Hey, shout out to Nick in the chat room said nobody want to see a stripper in a mask. I said, well, you know what? Then y'all just don't even be seeing no strippers in the year of our Lord 2021 with these damn coronavirus. Like, stay your butt at home and just remember what they look like. But they out here.
No, they're not staying home. These strip clubs are they've been
they in there making their money.
It's like Players Club when they cut the red light on and it was like, y'all, we got VIP in the house, y'all. Let's go make this money. That's all they see.
I guarantee you go in there, you go into one of these clubs. Like they needed technology so you could just detect corona in the air. You go into any club, I don't care if it's strip club, I don't care if it's like whatever. You gonna just see corona just floating around, just landing on people's cups, landing on people. Oof. You know, it's just stay home, folks. Go get vaccinated.
Thanks.
I'm just
I don't even want to go eat. Just gonna stay in the house.
Just landing on and for especially the people who eat at these clubs. Like, I don't know how y'all do it. Cause you got
now they do got the best. They got the best chicken wings at the
best chicken wings, bro.
They do. I don't go, and it's funny because you know,
go find me eating.
It'd be a whole full. I went to this 5-star one, and it was like a whole full buffet. You know, strippers dancing in the middle. Because I'm not really into strip clubs, but I was ready for the food. I was like, dang! And you just walk around and you go to the buffet. You get your food. It was good.
She said 5-star. No, I almost get in trouble in Atlanta. I can't do that. I forgot where I am. So let's go to a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by our first guest, Torraine Walker, and we're going to discuss not strip clubs, but we're going to discuss some serious politics and other news. We'll be back with more Like It or Not after this with the Real DJ exclusive taking us to a real break. Hey.
Good morning, y'all. It is Tuesday, March 9th and not Friday. Glad to see everybody back, man. Hope y'all doing good. Shout out to everybody that's joining us this morning in the chat room, y'all. Let's get into some of this good old music.
Hey, so
mix it on fly.
Hey, so Indies, hey. Go and try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us, we don't got a thing. Tell her park it up.
Shout out to everybody that's in the chat room joining this morning. Miss y'all so much, y'all. And appreciate all the love, y'all. Man, y'all make a brother feel good. Nats, welcome y'all. Good morning, mama. Love you, mama. Sensation, what's going on? Goku. Purple Rain Hearts, missed you too. What's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. 7, sweetheart. That's terrible.
Yeah, these all square like Irvin. Yeah, we grew up in the hood, no suburban.
Aurora, I appreciate that, man. I'm just glad to be back, y'all.
Yeah, they want me to quit. Yeah, they want me to shift. But as long as I'm alive, we gon' keep on making hits. While they steady shooting bricks, man, it's lit. Yeah, it's lit. Me and Bill back to back.
Happy birthday, Alicia. Happy birthday. Y'all drop them birthday cakes, candle lion hands in the chat for Alicia, y'all. Happy birthday, Alicia.
Every time your girl around, she be watch the way I'm dripping. Try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer,
Latif, I appreciate that, sir. Left is best. Good morning. Like the fireworks, I keep the flame parking up. It's the wrong tree, I got the Mark Diamond, good, happy birthday as well too, Mark Diamond. Happy birthday. All the birthdays in the building today.
I'm in flex mode with the best, though.
Melanie, good morning.
More. I'm your favorite G, I think it's best, yo.
They talking about there was a good deep fake of me on here yesterday. It was a deep fake virtual bubble. Yes, sir. That's what it was.
They don't know me, they just know what they see. What it costs to get flea, but this style ain't free. This that swag, this that splash. One more.
Mara, good morning.
Dash, keep a stash, just in case they tryna flash. Never lie, we don't slack. Tell her I was running back. I don't brag, I'm relaxed. I'm not into all of that, yeah. It's really just a
Luke Kane, not booty particles.
Make a call, I ain't into all that chatting, not at all.
Man, I love y'all. Y'all is crazy. Shout out to everybody that's joining us in the chat room, man. Make sure that y'all hit that like button, hit the like button, make sure that you share, subscribe, comment, y'all. You always know when Like It or Not is going down. And as usual, make sure that you download and get the Like It or Not. Join the Like It or Not community and get the Voices by Action Sprout app, y'all. Patricia, good morning.
I finally stopped running now. With you, I found my peace somehow. Let go of every thought that was holding me back. Yeah.
Every Santos, you're welcome. That is crazy.
The joy you give me every day makes me forget that I was troubled before. Don't know if I'm dreaming, I'm slipping away. I hear your sweet voice.
Y'all are terrible.
I see your face. I never knew you could love someone like me. You climbed my tower,
Chuck Diesel.
set me free. I never know felt like this before. I never know felt a love like this. I never know felt like this before. I never know felt a love like this. I know I can be safe with you. You want me now, I know you do. I know you're being patient and I love you for that. You show me
Alexa,
how
play
to
Cardi B
love.
up.
So tell me what you're thinking of, cause I won't be afraid, not holding anything back. Don't know if I'm dreaming, I'm slipping away. I hear your sweet voice, then I see your face. I never knew you could love someone.
Y'all, welcome back to the screen. Ben and Rebecca, y'all.
You play too much. Look, we done had you gone for one day. Now you want to come up here and play.
I gotta come back and I gotta act up, y'all.
Before we keep going, at least let me introduce the brother on the screen with us. Joining us now is Torraine Walker. He's the founder and editor-in-chief of Context Media Group, a news and information company that produces and distributes documentaries, in-depth interviews, and multimedia content. He describes himself as an observer, a journalist, and filmmaker and commentator. Torraine, thanks so much for joining us. How are you, man?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure, man. You walked right into the shenanigans. I know we got a lot of serious news to cover, but I was going to say, y'all need to not have those Alexas, the CIA sitting right in y'all kitchen, Rebecca. Like, know those affairs listening.
Well, first off, let me say, Torraine is family. Okay. Yes. Remember when we met him, 2 years ago at the Black Panther?
It had to be more than 2 years. Is it only
It's like 2 years. Oh no, it's 3. 3 years. 3 years. That's
been
crazy.
A minute, yeah.
And we've been Twitter family ever since. It was one of those things like we gonna meet up. We gonna meet up.
And it was pretty dope. We all and Torraine, you were there. We were all there. We all got the exclusive passes for the media through our mutual friend, and it was like great connecting with you. But you've been super busy since then. You started a media company. You've been in these streets with your activism. Tell us about the media company and your evolution from being an independent journalist to starting your own company.
All right. Well, that really came about because I was originally a featured journalist who was doing freelancing, and I was writing for people like the Huffington Post. I did stuff for Vice, Fusion, things like that. And I came into that around the time that protests became a really hot story in mainstream media. There was, Ferguson and Baltimore and all these things were happening. And I was feeling the stories about that stuff. But what I was noticing was that I had to filter my points of view, and I had to filter what I was saying through editors who didn't really understand the culture, and they didn't really understand the mentality of people who were dealing with these issues. So I said, you know what? We live in the information age. We also live in the age of technology. I can take what I know and reach the people I want to talk to directly and let them speak. So that's why I started Context Media. And so far, it's been pretty good. I've done exclusive interviews with activists. I've done a documentary. I do regular interviews with people. So far, it's been pretty good. It's been building.
That's what's up. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go on, Rebecca.
Really good, guys. I just need to know there is a lag, okay, Benjamin Dixon. But yes, sir, and it's really good to hear that because I know we know the whole idea or the life because we've been about that life where we're working for people and we do feel like our voices are put in a box or we're speaking through their lens and not particularly ours because we work for those people. colonize us. So, but now that we freed ourselves and we're able to have our voice and empower other people who look like us and bring people on and share the narrative and create that narrative to be actually what it is, it feels good. It feels like we're free. One thing I want to point out that you do on social media is really push it to the edge, right? It could be, you're not on the side of all of Black Twitter.
Yeah.
One thing I love about you, and even if I agree or disagree, what you usually do is say, all right, I see that one view, but just because I'm Black on Twitter doesn't mean that I have to agree with Black Twitter. How has that been for you? Because I've seen a lot of people do pushback on you, but you really just walk around like you don't care. You tweet around like you don't care. And I like that.
Yeah, some people love it, some people hate it, but you're always going to get me. Really what I do is, look, I come from every story and I come from every issue that people talk about from the perspective of being African-American and being a male. Now, that doesn't mean that I disregard other people's issues or I disregard other people's points of view. It's just that when I see something that I feel like is unfair, or I feel like something that's being used, one incident is being used to generalize a whole group of people, whether it's Black men or Black women or Black non-gender conforming people, I always push back against that. We live in an age now where people say a lot of things that they really don't mean because it sounds good and they know they can get a really quick viral tweet off of that. But I really believe in coming with data, and I believe in coming with facts and not letting somebody's lived experience, even though it's valid, dictate a whole generation, dictate a whole movement of how people should move. I think it's good to have healthy differences of opinion. I think it's good to debate respectfully. So that's what I try to provide. I don't try to attack anybody. I just say, no, this is what you feel. Okay, cool. Here's the data to back up whatever you feel. Do you have that or not? I usually come with data and people usually run away.
You, I know you're probably following and covering, to what extent you can let us know, covering the Derek Chauvin trial. And you began a lot of your career covering the protests and activists. What are your thoughts in terms of us actually getting justice in general, but even specific to this trial? Like, we saw all those 8 minutes and 8.5 minutes, and we have heard nothing but consistent lies from a segment of the media that is trying to undermine us getting quote unquote justice, even at this, even despite seeing the actual video. Where are you coming from in terms of coverage and your thoughts about that trial?
Well, I think one thing that people really have to understand is that the media, at least mainstream media as we know it, is not anybody's friend. And we have to get out of this idea of objectivity in the media, because all media to some degree is slanted one way or the other.
That's right.
What you see in a lot of mainstream media, especially reporting this particular trial, what you're getting is a lot of narrative that's being fed to the media by police unions and by people who are, quote unquote, on the side of Derek Chauvin. You're not really getting a lot of conversation from people who are affected by this trial. You're not really getting any kind of backstory from people who live in that community, who live in Minneapolis, who know the legacy of police brutality in Minneapolis, and it's a very long legacy. I interviewed a woman by the name of Nikema Armstrong about a couple of weeks ago. She was instrumental in helping to organize some of the protests when Philando Castile was killed, and she also helped organize some of the protests that happened in Minneapolis after George Floyd was murdered. You're not really seeing a lot of conversation with these people and people who are on the ground and people who are really affected by this. It's all narrative pushed by police unions, and a lot of media companies are not talking about that. I think that's where the focus needs to be, not just with me. I think people who are independent media or people who really have a vested interest in informing the public need to get in front of that.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly what we were talking about. It's funny that you mentioned that. It is the police unions putting out a rhetoric out there that is untrue. And what they'll do is try to polish the police officers, right?
Yeah.
Especially the murderer who's, going on trial now. And it's our duty, and that's why it's important, like, to reach out to activists and people to have these conversations. So my question to you is, when you are reaching out to activists, are you looking at their Twitter to see where they're at with the conversation? How do you choose? What's your choosing process for getting the activists to come on your show?
Well, basically what I do is I just try to really just present myself and introduce people to let them know who I am. And I try to tell them, look, this is who I am. This is what I would like to do. I like to give you a place to be heard. Go back and take a look at my record And if you are cool with what I've done and you like what I've done, would you like to come on? And overwhelmingly, the response has been pretty positive. I think we have to understand that a lot of people who are involved in activism, who are involved in protests, even outside of street level protests, these people really are at risk. And it's really dangerous sometimes for a lot of them to come to the media and speak because they don't want to have their voices either completely manipulated to make them seem like they said something that they didn't say, or to be completely edited to the point where the things they want to get across never come across, and you get the narrative of the media outlet. What I try to do is just basically let people speak for themselves. I ask the questions I need to ask, and I let people express themselves, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And sorry, Ben, one more thing. I asked that question because a lot of people will pose themselves as activists, right? And say they've been following this, and they too will start out with the right story, and then start leaning towards another way. And this is where it gets interesting, because these are the people who are getting into these shows and these platforms. A lot of people aren't vetting and seeing where they were before on the issue. And not to say that people can't change, but some of them actually try to be on the issue this one way because there's money there. Right? If I discuss this right here, the way that it is about George Floyd or police brutality, there's money there. But in actuality, I feel a different kind of way. And a lot of activists have been exposed about these type of things, but yet they're the ones that are getting, and when I say activists, I use that term very loosely for the people that have been given those opportunities in mainstream media.
You actually expose, you talk about that pretty regularly online.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I talk about it. But really what I'm doing is just really, all I'm really doing with that situation, and I know what you're talking about, is just giving voice to people who have really been ostracized and marginalized. There's sort of a thing that's happening right now where, well, it's been going on for a few years, where there's a possibility of getting notoriety by being an activist, or there's a possibility of getting notoriety by being seen as being an activist. They're two totally different things. And I think people don't understand that when there's outrage against injustice, and there's always going to be injustice in this country, unfortunately, as long as the material conditions continue as they are, you're going to see people who come to prominence protesting that injustice. There's nothing that's inherently wrong with coming to prominence by protesting injustice or getting your voice out there to be heard. The problem is, once you get that voice, what do you do with it? Who are you speaking for? Are you speaking for the people you claim to represent, or are you speaking for yourself? That's one of the problems right now. You know, people see that it can be very lucrative to be seen as an activist. You can get onto the speaking circuit. You can get into the nonprofit industrial complex, and then all of a sudden you become a symbol for civil rights, or you become a symbol for protest. But your symbolism and what you're doing may not have anything to do with the people you are claiming to represent. That's the issue. There's been a very prominent issue that's been happening over the past week, where people who feel like they've been marginalized or their issues have been pushed to the side to let other people come to prominence have been speaking out against that. So I've just been talking about that. I haven't really been on one side or the other. I've just been saying, look, these people have been on the ground for almost a half a decade. You need to talk to them. There's people in other cities who have been on the ground as well. But because they are putting in work, they don't have the media savvy to go to the media everywhere. They don't know who to call. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know how to get themselves into these positions. And they feel like they're being marginalized and left behind, so they want to speak. So that's what's happening.
Yeah. We see that happen all the time, man. And it is they don't have agents. Right? They don't have booking agents that can get them scheduled on all of these mainstream media outlets, and the people who are doing the actual work are putting their lives at risk, like you said. I want to shift gears a little bit, because I know you're also covering the national politics, and you're covering it from the perspective of holding the Biden administration accountable for their promises, but also from the perspective of what the people who advocated for Joe Biden, or even people who reluctantly voted for Joe Biden, what they are doing in terms of that accountability. Where are you at in terms of all this first 100 days of Biden's administration, and not just Biden in general, but like the Democratic Party as a whole?
Unfortunately, I have to say I'm not really surprised by the way things have gone. I knew when the election started, especially after the Senate race in Georgia, there was going to be a full court press in the country and in Georgia to move this conversation into we got to get Biden elected, because if we don't, the country's not going to survive if he's not elected. And there were a lot of promises made. There was a lot of massaging of the vote, especially the black vote, especially the black woman vote. Now Biden's in office. Now Kamala Harris is the vice president. We have Ossoff, we have Warnock in the Senate. But it seems like all those issues that were forefront to getting them in office have been left on read at this point. You know what I mean? It's like we're seeing a quiet return to the status quo and back to the quiet status quo that was in place before Trump showed up. And that feels to me like Trump was so much of a lightning rod for people that he was something that everybody could focus on getting him out. But there hasn't been any real conversation about how do you pay back the people who put you in office at this point. It's been a lot of hurry up and wait. It's been a lot of, well, we got to get around to these other things first before we get to you, even though he signed how many executive orders in the last month and a half. There was a press conference he did a couple of weeks ago. He had a stack of executive orders this high, and very few of them reached out to his constituents that were talked about as putting him in office. I think that's an issue. And I feel like a lot of people who are the quote unquote gatekeepers of Black punditry and the gatekeepers of Black politics allow that to happen because they're worried about their jobs and they're worried about getting a position in that cabinet. And you can't really serve the people if you're not connected to the people. It's bigger than your job, and it has to be addressed. If he's the president now, he has to really be held accountable. As these people kept saying, we're going to hold him accountable once he gets in office. He's in office, now let's hold him accountable. And I don't think that's been happening.
Let me tell you something. One thing about it is that I'm right there with you. I speak about holding the president accountable as in the vice president accountable, because these two people were put in place, whether we liked it or not, whether we liked them or not, but we knew that this was going to be better. We believed that it was going to be better. And personally, they are, right? But in a sense, they are still doing. Where are they when trouble hits? We haven't seen them. We haven't seen them stand strong enough and things like that. So I'm right with you on that. Another person that we have to hold accountable. I want to get your opinion on this one. Where Cuomo, right? We have Governor Cuomo, who was so loved at the beginning of the pandemic. They were all saying, he needs to be president. He needs to be all this and that. Now we have women speaking up against him about sexual harassment and and then the news about how he handled the COVID numbers and hiding information. So what do you think that he should step down?
Yes, I think at the very least, there needs to be a thorough investigation about what's going on. And there needs to also be a reckoning with a lot of people in the media, because a lot of what you're seeing right now, and again, a lot of this conversation, a lot of this idolization of Cuomo happened is because, let's face it, he has a brother who works on CNN. And there was a lot of conversation about conflicts of interest, about reporting on him or not reporting on him. You have to be able to hold everybody accountable. You can't just say that what Trump did was bad, which was bad. The Trump administration, there was a lot of nepotism. There was a lot of corruption. There was a lot of things that went on that still need to be investigated, need to be looked at. But you can't put all that on one side of the aisle and then look at everything that's going on the other side of the aisle and say, well, that's us. We'll downplay that. And we won't talk about that. If you're going to stand on a moral grounding, you have to be moral for everybody. You can't let it go from one to the other. It's unpleasant. It's hard to deal with, but it's the truth.
Speaking of Cuomo and his brother, Dwayne, do you have that clip from C4 Friday night? Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon. I just want to get your opinion on this.
They kikied.
They were just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow, thinking how it all looks hand-me-down.
How do you know the words to Good Times?
You know I'm black on the inside. So,
good times, anytime you need a baby.
So Florida, who, by the way, was a hugely educated, I think she was a Yale.
I didn't mean to throw you into the deep end like that, but this is who you're talking about. Like the media. Just talk about that for a second, man. Especially in context of CNN and his brother covering for the New York governor, and now Don Lemon. It's just a level of absurdity in our mainstream media that is excused at a level that I really want to know what you think.
First of all, did he actually say that I'm black on the inside?
And he said I'm black on the inside. He did. He said I'm black on the inside, and then tried to quickly cover it up by saying Florida. And like, we heard that.
That's what he
said.
said.
You see what I'm saying? This is the level of media coverage that we have in the United States right now on a mainstream level. You know what I mean? If you know what, man, I say this all the time to myself. You know, Edward R. Murrow and Ed Bradley are turning in their graves, man. With the stuff that we're dealing with right now. We don't really have media. We don't even have a media industry or a journalism industry in America anymore. We have a PR firm, and it's just two sides of the same PR firm. Whether it's Fox, whether it's CNN, and the public is the worst for this. I'm not saying that everything has to be stayed. You can't lighten it up and you can't have fun on your job, but you can't lose sight of the fact that your main reason for being there is to inform the public, and we're not getting that anymore. We're getting a lot of water carriers, and we're getting a lot of people who are giving you a lot of fluff, and you're not really helping out the people. And this is why we're dealing with a lot of uninformed people right now. It's you know, man, it's amazing. It's really fascinating. We got to get out of this idea that just having somebody who looks like you on TV or in politics or in any kind of punditry or in activism is really going to help you. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? We have to get out of the identity politics to the point where we're just focused so much on identity that we don't look at anything else.
Absolutely. And to that end, that's why your media company and what you're doing is so important. Torraine Walker, founder and editor of Context Media Group. Can you tell everyone how they can get up with you and where they should find your work?
Absolutely. You can find my work on contextmediagroup.com. You can also find me on social media, Torraine Walker on Twitter, and Context Media on Instagram, Facebook. Everything's all Context Media Group or Context Media. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Hey, brother, thanks so much for joining us. We want to have you back anytime that you're available, covering any of your stories. We appreciate the work that you're doing.
No, thank you. I'll even shave next go around.
James, take us to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more Like It or Not after this.
Torraine Walker, we thank you so much, sir, for being here this morning. Absolutely great interview, y'all. Y'all did that, man. I appreciate that. Right. All right, y'all. Make sure that you get the Voices by Action Sprout app. Get the Voices by Action Sprout app and join the Like It or Not community. This way you can send us picture stories, whatever it is that you may have, and we can get it played on the air, y'all. Send your submissions in. Let's get it started.
Beside you a lie, you a front. You say anything long as you get what you want. Tryna play me like a fool, homie, I am not a clown. It ain't nothing but a game, cause all you do is mess around. Now I'm on the verge of a meltdown. I should've known when I met her back at Midtown, at Dogwood, when I was going
Shout out to
rough
Goku.
patch, but it's all good. I even told her about the dark times I had.
Nat M, good morning.
Off of I-10 and Kirkwood. Now all that time I never get it back. You wanted that. Used to hate when I didn't wanna hang. I noticed that. Used to talking about your ex Jake with your next Jack.
Plugging the hell out of it.
Boys, now she went black. Wait a minute. Guess you went and got yourself a real life. Got yourself some booty shots and live villa. You just wanna make a rapper beat like Dilla. You ain't at the nice radio. He does. Cause up close, baby, you a ghost. You a demon, and you should float. Get out the way and just go. And just go. And just float.
And make sure that if you want to become a patron, then you can support the show, become a patron, get ad-free and exclusive content. Make sure that you go to patreon.com/thebpd show. Patreon.com/thebpd show, y'all.
Every nickel and dime cause you a lie. Oh, you up front. You gon' say anything as long as you get what you want. When you got yourself a new man, it ain't even been a month. I feel sorry for your boo cause he don't know what he signed up for. Ooh, yeah, I heard that you met him at the bar, Louis. Hope you don't try to do him like you tried to do me, baby. You a cold-blooded killer like Stupidity. Cause up close, baby, you a ghost. You a demon, and you should float. Get out the way and just go.
Millie Rocket on hyperspeed, hunch up.
And just float.
Hey, y'all make sure that y'all are hitting that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Share, comment, and subscribe, y'all. Like it or not, it's going down.
Look at your lying eyes. I should have been better laced cause I failed too many times. If money's the root of evil and you call yourself a dime, you gotta be penny wise. You gotta be penny wise. You gotta be penny wise.
Shosty 100. Hey, I appreciate that.
Up close,
welcome.
baby,
I see your first time viewer. Welcome, sir.
And you should float. Get out the way and just go. And just go. And just float.
Mama Bina, good morning, my East Point neighbor. I hope you're doing good this morning.
chill. You don't know me like that. You got a problem, you can meet me out back. Look, I don't mean to be a sound rash, just hear me out. We don't beef about facts, cause
it might happen. If I find the right song, then it might go down. You one of them slow rolls.
In my wizardry, it appear to be really just that, dog. Dog, my life crazy.
The Environmental Coffee House, good morning.
I'm a Leo, feeling like James Baldwin. Got a couple problems, play out.
Shout out to everybody that's watching this on Twitch and Facebook, y'all. We see y'all, love y'all too.
Dog, all 4 of them. But I'd rather be
Pixie, good morning.
Corners moving like Transformers. Man, that's
that last track.
We gon' ride all the way to Death's entrance.
According to that last track was called Pennywise by Norman Sand. That was Pennywise by Norman Sand.
First time I saw him, he told me to stay fresh. Second time I saw him, he told me I stay blessed. Third time I saw him, I told him I see you next. Big flex. What a mess. Even feel like the best. Depressed. If I know me, why do I gotta guess? I expected it, what did you expect?
Slow-mo bubble roll.
Dog, and my plug is the www.com. Show me love, I'ma reciprocate it. It's not hard, if it's yours, you can keep it, whatever, there's no charge. Ain't nothing free, ma, as you can see, especially not me, ma. But the world yours though, but it ain't delivery or the journal. Go get it, I gotta go now. Catch you later, catch you at the show now. What if trips been a long road?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the screen. Benjamin Dixon, y'all.
To like it or not, we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. Joining us now is Jonathan Smucker. He's the co-founder of Lancaster Stands Up, PA Stands Up, Common Defense, and Beyond the Choir. He's also a PhD student in sociology at the University of California, Berkeley. Jonathan, thanks so much for joining me. How are you this morning?
Hey, I'm good. Good to be with you, Ben.
Good to be speaking with you again. We spoke previously on the podcast version of my work, and we had an in-depth conversation that I think is even more pertinent now. We spoke previously about organizing the left. And you phrased it actually in a way. You said that progressivism is on the ascendancy, and at the time when you said it, it didn't feel like that. And I think even now there are a lot of progressives or leftist people who are really interested in liberation, interested in all these values that we both have in common. I think they also feel like this is perhaps not a good time for progressivism because the Democratic establishment is in power. What are your thoughts on that general area?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's complicated, right? And I think one of the tensions in political organizing work is we have to balance between actually like not being patient, right? Like we have to make pressing demands and we have to demand things now. And at the same time, I think internally we have to take a long view of how dynamic the situation is right now and how things are changing. And so, you know, establishment Dems are in charge. Well, what else is new in that regard, right? The old guard of the Democratic Party, people who made their careers coming up, you know, in the Reagan era, right? Mm-hmm. They've been the neoliberals, right? Folks who have been, you know, I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but you know, we're talking about people who went along with free trade, people who went along with, you know, all the Republican rhetoric on so many things, tough on crime, welfare queens, welfare reform, all these racist dog whistles, you know, the expansion of the criminal justice system in this country, the continuing gutting of social programs, the colossal failure on healthcare. These were both Republican and Democratic administrations for the past 40 years. So when people are like, well, the Democratic establishment, they're at the helm, that's true. That's not new. But what is new is they're not as much at the helm as they used to be. And we've got a really important foothold and power. We've got, you know, I mean, people talk about the squad, people talk about Senator Sanders, and we should be talking about them. And we should be talking about our movements that that got them there. And, folks are. And so I guess where I'm going with this is, I was very much for Bernie Sanders. I did as much as I could to get him elected, like so many folks. I think Bernie could have won this year. I think the establishment forces that we were up against last year, were formidable. But there was a time when the campaign was navigating that, and it looked like, he was the front runner. So I think we were in the margin of maneuver. And to be in the margin of maneuver, that means the margin in which tactics and strategy can flip the outcome one way or another, is huge, right? And the crop of leaders and of folks in Congress and the strength of our movement, it's totally different. It's a different world than when Obama came into power in 2009, where all that stuff was weak.
Let's dig in there real quick because you've said quite a few things there. Like there was we were within the margin of maneuver, and I like that way of thinking of it. But I want to back up to something else that you said. Like we're having to learn how to balance not being too patient, right? Being impatient, as well as balancing the complexities of this moment. Can you unpack that more? Because yes, we need to strike. We need to do something now. But how do you frame that in the context of the complexities we're dealing with in terms of the Democratic establishment?
Absolutely. So I think that there's a couple of different logics at work here that are in tension with each other. So as political organizers, so that's my background. I've been a political organizer for the past 25 years. And, I was raised working class, rural, and I'm organizing here in rural Pennsylvania, where, it's a different world, the basis that we're moving, right? So the movements that we're organizing here in Pennsylvania, as I see other places across the country, what we've got to do is we have to make things urgent because things are urgent, right? Especially right now with the COVID crisis, poor people, working class people, people of color, people are, it's a dire situation. And so we need to, and not just that, just all the things that our movements have been struggling with. We're talking about the trial right now, earlier on the episode, and that urgency is in communities that are directly impacted. So we need to make that sense of urgency out there. And to do that, sometimes we have to simplify things in terms of our messaging. We have to create that urgency. There's not a lot of room on Twitter, for example, or in an 8-second soundbite when you're talking to the mainstream press to get that nuance out. You've got to, and that's not the point. You've got to mobilize people. You've got to talk in moral language. But internally, we have to really map what's different right now. We have to map the specifics. Like, let's take the bill that's being voted for today, the relief bill, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us have been working for years to get a $15 an hour minimum wage. I think we're going to get that eventually. We better. But it was maddening to see 8 Democratic senators vote against it. And before that, also to see, Chuck Schumer, Biden, Harris not, overrule the parliamentarian or fire the parliamentarian. All that stuff, like they should have done that, right? It's maddening that they didn't. So we need to make noise about that. At the same time, we have to look at this relief bill and compare it to the stimulus in 2009 and how, Biden basically told Larry Summers to, I don't know if I can swear on this show, so
go F himself.
And that it's, this is going to increase the income of the poorest Americans in the country by 20%. I mean, it's significant. It's a big win, and it's a win that would not have happened without the organizing, without the movements, without our champions in Congress reframing the debate over the past 5 years. And so the last thing I'll say on this is I think this is related to this question of creating urgency and also having a nuanced analysis for our own strategic thinking, right? We also as movements have to learn how to celebrate partial victories because almost always in this work, our victories are partial. And it's hard to celebrate a partial victory when there's a really important thing that we didn't win. There's a really important way that we fell short.
Let's talk about the differences here, right? Because you said we have to speak in moral language, especially in these sound bites, the mainstream media. But even in some of the longer, broader conversations, the online conversations, the YouTube conversations, the panels, and all these things, we are met with a level of reductionism that doesn't allow for nuance from our side, from the progressive side, from people who ostensibly are fighting for the same things that we are, but yet and still, when you have organizers, right? Organizers such as yourself, organizers in the South, the people who actually helped win Georgia, it's almost mandatory that they think and operate in a nuanced way. And you have this imbalance where the people who are out there doing the work have the nuance because, well, the work requires it. But even in some of our independent media, we don't have that nuance. So where do you find a balance there, or what is your message to that dichotomy?
Yeah, I think, and the last conversation you were having with Torraine, is that how?
Torraine Walker.
Torraine, sorry. I have a book by Torraine on my shelf. There was getting at some of this, the tension in activism and organizing between the visible part, right, and that kind of there's a journalist, Zainab Tafechi. She talks about the economy of attention that's online, and I think it's having this is not all media, social media. It's so important, right? It's how people make meaning of things. We have to contend in it. This is not making an argument against engaging with it. But on some level, what it's doing is it is really invisibilizing the on-the-ground organizing and power building and giving a lot of people, I think, a false impression of how politics works, right? So on the ground, right, we're talking about knocking on people's doors, finding volunteers, finding people who are leaders. How do you find a leader? Well, they have followers, right? They have people that they influence, finding them, aligning them, developing their leadership, inviting them into leadership, making a field map of which neighborhoods you're going to knock, how you're going to build groups, all this stuff. It's hard work, right? So in some ways, it's kind of like the workhorses and the show horses, right? Like that's a metaphor for this, that hard work that doesn't translate into social media. It's not sexy. People don't retweet it. And so there's a real tension between that kind of in-depth, and it's not easy to learn too. There's a whole skill set that's invisible. I mean, people can learn it by stepping into it, right? It's not like, but it's like, it's a whole area of work and political skills that our movements really need to learn if we're going to be powerful, if we're going to get more champions in Congress and do more in the coming years.
What do you say then to when we get these champions, quote unquote champions in office, right? What level of accountability can we actually hold them to in terms of maintaining the agenda that we sent them up there to accomplish? For example, the $15 an hour minimum wage struck down by the Senate, but ostensibly could be forced back into the legislation if about 6 Congress people in the House actually leverage their power. What do you say to that potential strategy, but also just to the broader conversation of how do we hold these people accountable when we send them up there on our behalf?
Yeah, well, I'm going to put that there's an onus on our champions, right, for sure, to deliver. But I want to talk a little bit more about the onus for our movements, because those champions, Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and there's more, and they're growing, and they're also growing in state houses, which is also important across the country. We have to pay attention there. They want to have cover from us. They want to have a demand from us. They want our movements to be out there, organized, changing the common sense, making and articulating a popular demand, right? Because that's the only way they're going to be able to leverage power to get things done, right? So in some ways, accountability is one lens to look at it through, but and it can be an important lens, right? There's sometimes you elect somebody and they're just not doing what you want them to do. I don't think that's really the situation we're at with those champions that I just named. These are folks who I think are pretty fundamentally accountable to the movement, who want to do more. They don't have enough people in Congress to do more. And our movements still aren't strong and strategic enough to be making the demand and winning the popular fights. I mean, we're in a hard situation. We're getting a foothold on power for the first time in decades in this country. Progressive forces, organized working class people, and the organizations that we built, right? So I think the last thing I would say with this, the scenario you mentioned is an interesting one. And I think what's really important to recognize about, 6 people in the House could hold this up to do X. The first thing to recognize about that scenario is that is a tactical, a question of tactics and strategy, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a question of principles and vision. And so that kind of stuff gets really complicated. There's not really easy, cut and dry moral answers, right? Like with the $15 an hour minimum wage, that is actually juxtaposed with a relief bill that people are desperately waiting for that will make a huge difference in people's lives. So it's like, I don't want to cut people too much slack, and it's not our job as movements to cut slack. It's our job to make demand and let them sort it out. So I think that's what we should keep doing, is focus on our part, building power, building our voice, making the demand, changing the common sense.
One last question for you before we get out of here. I want you to help the people understand 2 things. The concept of the ascendancy of progressivism, despite there's a lot of people who are still feeling like we're not getting anywhere. And I think you, at least our first conversation, you vehemently disagree with that. You believe that we're in a stronger position now than before. I want you to speak to that, but then also speak to the people in the audience in terms of how they can help the progressive movement. Yeah, thanks. I think that just to dial it back a second, I want to be clear. I'm not like Pollyanna here, like everything's rosy. We're on an inevitable path to increased, to winning things. I think we're in an incredibly precarious place as a country. I think that if Democrats right now don't deliver in a pretty big way in the next 2 years, we're going to have right now Republicans are in disarray, but we're going to have a retrenchment. We're going to have somebody like Josh Hawley or some other authoritarian who doesn't have all the baggage of Trump. We're going to have them come back with a vengeance. And that's going to happen if the Democratic Party does not do things to visibly show that they are fighting for the working class base that is their traditional base. And by working class, I mean black, white, brown, rural, urban, right? That is how they are going to realign the electorate. And if they fail to do that, we are really screwed, right? So my cautious optimism is that the objective conditions of COVID, of the movements we've built over the past few years, the way we've changed the common sense on things like Black Lives Matter, Green New Deal, Medicare for all, even though, we're attacked constantly on those things still, we've really moved the goalposts and made these ideas popular or allowed working class people to realize, hey, that's going to benefit me. That's what making an idea popular is, right? And so we have the real potential because of that to accomplish some things, some big things. Yeah. And it's not going to be everything, right? We're going to have to prepare for the next wave. We're going to have to elect more champions and do more. But at the same, so that's my cautious optimism. But if we don't do that, I think we're in real trouble. Absolutely. Jonathan Smucker, co-founder of Lancaster Stands Up, PA Stands Up, and Common Defense. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hey, thanks. A pleasure to be on, Ben. Pleasure's ours. James, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we have a lot more news and politics to cover. More like it or not, after this.
All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoying the show thus far. Jonathan Smucker, thank you so much again for joining us today. Make sure that y'all are hitting that like button, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff, and make sure that you become a patron of the show as well. This way you can get exclusive content, ad-free content, and also be invited to the patron parties, but you don't want to miss it. If you miss it on Friday, my God, today, you missed a damn good one. Let's get into the music, y'all.
not sure I understand it, but everything seems brighter now than before. I don't know why I feel this way, but every time I hear your name, all my worries.
You should. You really should. The way
it's all because of you. I feel the way I do.
Purple Rain Hearts. I will be waiting for that food as well too. You can send it to us here in East Point, and I'll be gladly waiting for it. Thank you.
It's all because of you.
Nat A. Loop Night, Bubba. Yes, Nat.
And I don't fall in love so easily.
Man.
Cause I don't wear my heart up on my sleeve. Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same, but every time I hear your name, my worries disappear. It's all because of you, yeah. I feel the way I do. You make my dreams come true. Yes, you do. It's all because of you, because of you.
Alan, that is dope. Make sure you gotta send us some pictures, man. As well too, but of course I tried to go paint, and I painted the room. It looked good, but when I tell you it's paint all over the floor, it's paint all over the baseboards, I was messed up. I should have waited. When I tell you it was terrible, but the room looks great. The room looks good as hell, but it's paint everywhere. Paint everywhere.
Why you tryna play me?
Oh yeah. I was talking about I painted this weekend after the patron party, which was not a good idea.
Knowing that I'm right, why you tryna wreck me? Always wanna check me, wanna call me out in front of friends. Careful where you tread before this ends. You love me and I love you, but butting heads is what we do. Bullheaded, stubborn, wild, crazy lover. You love me and I love you.
Dwayne was getting
it. We just match the two. Why we get so mean? Light the match, I'm kerosene.
Hey man, the patron party was off the chain Friday night. it was off the chain.
Fire.
Rebecca, you want sleep?
The flame with fire.
Patron party was live. It was live for a second. Rebecca was in there setting it off, putting on a whole show.
David's grandma in there. I didn't see her.
What did she say? David's grandma?
David's grandmother was not in there, was she? Oh, okay. I didn't think so. Welcome back to Like It or Not.
Okay. My bad.
I got nothing. Yeah.
It was funny. It was really funny.
Are we going to do some more news? Are we going?
Yeah, we're gonna definitely go to more news. And what I wanted to start with was Meghan Markle. So Meghan Markle appeared with her husband Harry in an internationally televised interview on Sunday night with Oprah Winfrey. Okay. Right. In that interview, Meghan and Harry revealed a ton of the behind the scenes situations with the royal family. One of the biggest revelations from this interview was the news that the royal family had direct conversations with Meghan and Harry about what color baby Archie was about to be. Let's take a look at this portion of the interview.
In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Oprah face.
And
who is having that conversation?
That
with you? What
did her eye twitch?
Did she drop the name?
No, it was the who was having that conversation with you, and then Megan was like,
she's like, it happened, but she
not
wasn't gonna say.
names, sis. So Harry was also asked about this during the portion of the interview with Oprah, and he confirmed Meghan's account. Both of them are unwilling to say who in the family had asked this question. However, Harry later clarified that neither his grandmother, who was the Queen, or his grandfather, Prince Philip, were the ones who asked this. There was a global reaction to this interview. Of course, I mean, that was widespread, and it shed an unusual amount of light on the royal dealings. So in the UK on Good Morning Britain, co-hosted by Piers Morgan now, Dr. Shola Mosmas Shogbamimu now absolutely dragged Piers for his reaction to this interview. And the reason I'm so excited about it, because let me tell you something, Piers Morgan is trash. And the way that she took this trash out was amazing. Let's take a look.
What about the behavior of Harry and Meghan, who are spray gunning his family on global television as Philip lies in hospital? You might laugh. I don't think it's funny. I think it's piling hurt on the Queen, who is already suffering greatly from her husband's illness.
I wish to respond to that. What I don't think is funny, I'll tell you what I don't think is funny. It's the fact that you are such a disappointment. I wish to God one day you would even surprise me. You constantly use your platform as a wealthy, white, privileged man with powered influence.
What a load of nonsense, honestly. What a load of race-baiting nonsense.
And the misogynist attacks on Meghan Markle. And you do it so shamelessly.
We have done more on racial issues on this show than any other show on television.
You're talking...
Shola, you can keep shouting.
Deny that the royal family has any racist undertone or actions against the first biracial, simply because you're in love with the Queen?
No, I think what you're doing now...
You can love the Queen, but you should be able to call out actions done by the royal family when they've got it wrong.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you trash the Queen. Sorry. Just not going to let you do it.
Well, I'm not
going to let you do it.
Who the hell
cares
where he going?
So yeah, exactly. So Shola definitely gave him the business, right? And she said something important though that I say all the time about, we don't have a monarchy here, but I say all the time about our president and our leaders. I don't care if you love them or not, because they good people to you, and people who look like you. I don't care if they gave a kid on the street $1. I really don't care, because we have to hold them accountable. Just because you love them does not mean that we're not going to hold them accountable as our leader. So this is what she was explaining. And just because there's this royal respect for these people, we have to understand those people came in place because they took down the black monarchs. But I mean, that's another story for another day. Yeah. So she's saying that we have to hold them accountable. And if there's racial situations happening because there is a biracial woman in their family and they were afraid, some family members were afraid about what that kid was going to look like, we got to call it out, because this is the leader of a whole place that has black and white folks, that has mixed people. And now it's in their family, and they are so afraid that the baby came out looking like the Kofi Sorobi finds out. They thought that's what happened. And it's ridiculous to me. It's absurd. I think that's why Oprah looked at her like, because there's two things why when Meghan Markle said they had an issue with the baby's skin color, right? And we are the ones that say that Meghan is more black than she says she's black. We know that the United States of America, Britain, if you got a little bit of black in you, baby,
one drop.
You black.
One drop. Yeah. You black.
So yeah, one drop rule. So in this particular situation, I feel that Oprah looked at her and was like, girl, they thought that baby skin color was going to be, they had a problem with it.
I wish we had a picture of the baby. not to actually buy into the colorism part of it, but like.
But that's how I felt. They're like, how could they have said that when the baby would come out, if this was back in the day, as a house baby? You see what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm saying.
He's been passing. He definitely been passing.
The baby would be something that's passing. And then I think Oprah was really shocked. Like, are they serious? This is seriously something that's going on. She had to be shocked. But this is some. It ain't no different. They're the ones that really constructed, as me and you were talking about Ben yesterday. They constructed this whole systemic thing. Yeah. They are the original colonizers. So like, we can't be shocked about it. We were the same ones giving Meghan and stepping into the royal family. Like, girl, she about to make it real black in there. Bonnet. I wasn't. And that wasn't the case. You know, it wasn't the case. And now they still treated her as if she came in there and was shaking her. And she was Megan the Stallion, not Meghan Markle. Meg the Stallion, child. and there's nothing wrong.
So wait. So what you saying to sum it up was like, she went in there and she was just, even that one drop of blackness that's in Archie was just way too much for them to even consider. And she didn't even go in there with the black power fist, right?
No,
she just went in there being herself.
We gave that to her.
She just went in there being herself, right? Yes. Just in love with the little redhead, brother, whatever.
The only one that still got the hairline.
No, let's talk about that hairline for a second. Cause if you take a picture of him from behind, you'll see what's really going on. Like, he's got this big gaping.
He has a situation.
Yeah, he's got a situation. I mean, but from the front, he's still got his hair.
No, it shows. He found himself a black woman, and
But is anybody surprised? Like, I don't think anybody is surprised, but except like, I don't know who. Maybe. I mean, and I'm not going to put this on Meghan because she's in the middle of it, right? So whether it's a surprise to her or not, she's the one that's trying to survive it, right? But I mean, we're talking about the original colonizers, like we said. We're talking about the people who have ruled with an iron fist across the globe. The sun never set on the British Empire, right? And we're talking about people who have dominated black and brown countries for generations and used white supremacy as a tool. So of course, this royal family is racist. Now, to Piers Morgan, turns out Piers is really just mad because he did get an invitation to the wedding. There was a clip this morning where he ended up storming off the set of Good Morning Britain because another anchor ripped into him because at the end of the day, he was just jealous. And one last thing about Piers, it just amazes me how far these mediocre, non-talented people can get in any country, right? He came to the United States and all of a sudden, he had a British accent. So he was with Donald Trump and everybody loved him. He was on CNN. And then, and now he's going back home because nobody here really mess with him anymore. I had to watch what I was about to say. Nobody really messed with him anymore. But now he's over there and he's peddling the same dog whistle bullhorn racism that is here in the United States. And of course he understands how to do it because they're the originators of it. So I'm sorry, like all I'm going to say is down with the crown. This is a good time as any to overthrow the monarchy. You don't need kings. You don't need welfare queens. The Queen of England is a literal welfare queen taking the taxpayer dollar from over there across the pond, and they need to do away with all of it.
Dr. Shola. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb, baby.
Shout out to you for pronouncing that name, because good God Almighty, I'm glad I tried. Can you read? What is that name again?
Yeah, Dr. Shola Mas Shogba Mimu. And I didn't have to read the breakdown, thank you, Lord, but I know it because look, I got enough African angels around me. Praise the Lord. I can get.
They angels now. They angels now because they were devils yesterday.
No, he was Satan yesterday, and he's an angel today. But I will say back to the Meghan Markle story. Every time you do a woman wrong, God pushes your hairline back a few inches, and we can see that in the family. Every time you do a woman wrong, he gonna push her hairline back.
Who's really mad about this? What is Pip? What is the other boy's wife name? What
is her name? We forgot all about her.
What is her name? Because she's like, I'm guaranteeing you, she's the one that's throwing stuff around because she wants that. She wants that crown.
That fame, that crown.
She wants her husband. I don't even know that name.
Is it Kate?
Kate Middleton or something like that. Kate Middleton.
she started off being the one, right, for that while. But then Megan, and you know us, black folk, we're going to make people blackest and blacker. Like that, we're going to make them blackety black. Megan, girl, your mama black. Girl, she about to turn their royal family out. And that's what happened. And then black folks done.
Kate was like, oh no.
Yeah,
oh no.
Kate doesn't like that.
No.
Oh no. Not in
and then
here.
Kate was like, oh my God. Like I was supposed to step in and
Meghan
it was supposed
Markle?
to be me. It was supposed to be Megan. What kind of name is Markle? Markle? Oh my, I'm a Middleton.
All that.
I'm Middleton.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, she's the one. She's throwing stuff around there. Y'all know the meme of that old white or middle-aged white lady. She's just mad like that's the Kate is like literally probably tearing shit of stuff apart. My bad. Because
Marco, she didn't get that fame.
Megan is taken away from it. Like and the value of the crown and isn't like they going down. And for Kate, she planned her whole life to be the queen. But
it's about to be copper by the time we get to her. It's gonna be worth. It's gonna be worth dust, baby.
Y'all know they said that Kate made Megan cry a few times. So a lot of this stuff is coming from Kate. She trying to be the one that's trying to get them out of there. You know what?
You will never
Karen
be
Kate
us. You will never be us, Megan. You look at you. You have.
Wait a minute. Wait. You got to do it with a British accent, or else it's not right.
No, Kate don't have a British accent.
Yeah,
She's
Kate
right.
from the States, ain't she?
She is. She's American.
She's from
Kate's from the States.
Yeah.
Oh, she's extra mad.
A little Paris Hilton.
She said she left America to get away from racial justice. She
and
did not.
It followed her right over there. Like, hey.
So did
Black Lives Matter went right across the pond and followed her ass over there.
My
Sorry,
daddy
Kate.
white, my mama black. What's up? I'm good on both sides.
I'm pretty sure she's British, y'all.
No, she's not. But that's how long it's been. That's how much we don't care about her.
Yeah.
And let me not say that.
I don't even care to Google it. Be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
how
even
much we haven't seen her because Meghan Markle has been in the news cycle time and time again. We remember Kate was pregnant. That was such a big thing. Meghan came. Yep. She was pregnant. Meghan had a choir at her
That's right.
at the wedding. She had mad like it was kind of we had
it was a little they had a little blackness at the wedding.
It was the blackest one they had.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I just I see clips on Twitter.
Yeah,
she was born in the UK. Okay, so yeah,
she doesn't have an accent.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just never heard her talk.
Or we just really don't care that we made her somebody else.
Yeah, we really don't care. We just made whatever the hell we wanted to.
She's not worth the effort of doing the British accent.
So listen,
like it or not, she's gonna be American today. Goddamn it.
Yeah, she's gonna be American today. Nobody cares now. But Meghan Markle, I felt bad. Now, this is a comment that I did see, y'all. I saw a comment that stated, and let me go to my Twitter right now because I don't want to miss.
Somebody said grits in the royal kitchen is now being served.
Let me go.
Sugar.
Well, somebody stated that basically.
Oh Lord Jesus!
She tried to make chitlins for real?
No, she didn't.
Oh,
Don't listen to Dwayne. Dwayne to send you on the wrong road. Don't.
Yeah, no, Jonas, my little brother, he still texts me, Kate is British. Yeah, we got to that. But listen, somebody had said something about they wish that the babies are going to be black. They wish that Archie marries a dark-skinned woman. And I can't find the retweet, but it was basically our skin is not a punishment. It shouldn't be a punishment. Yeah. And we are people and we're human beings too. It shouldn't be to punish the royal family. Now I see it both ways, and I agree with what this person said, because we shouldn't think that the blacker the baby, the more it is a punishment. But also, sis, the blacker the baby, the more beautiful the baby. The blacker the person, the more beautiful the person. All skin colors are beautiful. But one thing about it is that dark skin that you guys wanted us to hate so bad will be the thing that haunts you every night. Now, it started off with half.
Not even
the baby ain't even black. It started off with half, but this baby gonna walk around like my grandmother.
Yeah.
My grandmother is black, and I think she got dreads. Oh, Lord. It's about to be real. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be...
It's too much. It's too much for them to handle, it's good. It's a good reason to tear it down.
Their family is a result of, at the beginning, some kind of like ancestry. So We're trying to clean things up here for you.
No,
okay?
no, I don't want to clean it up. Burn it all to the ground.
Burn it all to the ground.
Burn it all to the ground. Take back everything they ever stole. You know, pay restitution, pay reparations across the globe to all the nations that you colonized and that you divided and conquered. All the millions of people who died at the hands of this British crown. Like, to be honest with you, like, you know, we gonna back Meghan Markle, obviously, but you know, she married into a pretty racist, belligerent, warmongering institution that's got a lot of blood on his hands. So, you know what I mean? Like, hey, shut it down.
Why did we Americanize Kate for like a good 10 minutes though?
Because we didn't care. Because I honestly don't.
What
care.
is this on the screen?
This is true. This is Archie, who is a very, very, very cute baby. Very cute baby. But this is what they see. I don't know why. Actually, there's another picture just like this with a black baby. But
this is oh man, yeah, y'all racists got issues, man. Y'all
But here's the thing, and it's
y'all
funny.
need an ass whipping and some mental health counseling, like at the same time, because y'all got some serious issues. If that baby was y'all worried about that baby dark skin, and look at Prince Philip looking like he got leprosy and like 10th stage, like I don't know what this man is dealing with.
You
and they
better
more worried
stop
about
it.
I'm just saying, like this man.
Y'all are gonna burn the same sort of hell. Y'all all gonna burn.
I've already accepted my place in hell. It's okay. I'm just saying, y'all need some melanin in y'all bloodline, because if y'all grow up and look like Prince Philip, man. Anyway, Burger King got to shift gears
because we can stay on this forever.
No, we can, and really clown them appropriately because they deserve it, man. They down like I'm not with monarchies at all. So,
and especially how they came about. But like I said, that's a story for another day. You thought just white kings and queens just came out of nowhere? Did you really think that Christopher? If you think that, then you thought Christopher Columbus really discovered America.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet from Burger King?
Let me stop.
Come on. Did y'all see did y'all see that tweet from it was another British incident with the UK tweet. Burger King just realized that you can't really have it your way. While many were honoring women on International Women's Day, Burger King was firing off what they thought was going to be a funny tweet, I guess, and it ended up coming off as sexist as it sounds. They said, tweet number 1, women belong in the kitchen. And in a horrible effort to clean up, they posted a series of separate tweets explaining the majority of the chefs are men. After many tweets calling them out, one commenter said it was weird. It was a weird tweet, with Burger King following up with a comment that they thought it was weird that women only made up 20% of chefs in the UK. When responding to comments for them to delete the tweet, Burger King said in part, "Why would we delete a tweet that's drawing attention to a huge lack of female representation in our industry?" Well, eventually, Burger King gave up and did offer an apology, and they later said this. They said, quote, "We hear you. We got the initial tweet wrong, and we're sorry. Our aim was to draw attention to the fact that only 20% of professional chefs in the UK kitchens are women, and to help change that by awarding culinary scholarships, we will do better next time." And they said the following, quote, "We decided to delete the original tweet after our apology. It was brought to our attention that there were abusive comments in the thread, and we don't want to leave that space open for that."
Can I say this?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
think?
Did you see the original? Did both of you guys see the original tweet in the thread?
Yeah, no, I saw it almost in real time.
So I saw it, and when they posted the "Women Belong in the Kitchen," but they made it a thread. They started off with "Women Belong in the Kitchen," which I was like, who? No nails for the power, but you knew who. So, but then I went to the next tweet. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what they're trying to do. I see what they're trying to do." But they started off definitely wrong.
Who thought about that?
Now, it was a terrible marketing campaign.
It was terrible. They should have never started with that tweet. But I did see what they were trying to say and trying to do. This is where I believe Twitter takes it and makes it something that it's not. Yes, they got it super wrong. They did, as far as the first initial tweet, but literally they threaded it. Everybody has some threads. Everybody. So they tried to create this story. They thought, oh, this gets your attention. Have you ever seen those Instagram posts where it's like some a woman in a thong, and then they'll be like, and then at the bottom of it's like, now that I have your attention, Ben, now that I have your attention, you need to sign up for such and such and vote or read your word or whatever, right? That's what it does. And I think that's what they tried to do.
Wait a minute,
wanted to
Rebecca.
get people's attention with something controversial. What's up?
Did you just say you've seen threads on Instagram where somebody posts a woman in a thong and then say you need to read your word, as in the word of God?
No, it'll be like a woman in a bent
That's
over
what I heard,
thong.
James. Did you hear that? Because that's
that's exactly
That's
what it
not
be.
what I
It'd be
heard, but I mean,
a
but
woman
that's what
in a thong, a woman in a thong. Look, y'all gotta be explaining myself. It'll be something controversial, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Okay.
It'll be like the word sex, and then we'll look at what is this person talking about, and then it'll be like, hey, now that I got your attention, this is what, and this is what. And I think that's the what they were trying to do, but what Twitter made it seem like. And people were right to say, hey, you got this wrong. You should never started with that because it's not right. But what people were doing was, oh my God, you guys are this, you guys are that. Listen, if they want to pay for people to go to culinary school, there are a lot of women who do want to cook, right? I may not be one of them, but there are a lot of women who do want to cook and get in the kitchen. There's nothing wrong with that. Women, if they want to be in the kitchen, they can. And if they don't want to, that's optional as well. But how people were putting hateful things in there and making it something that it wasn't, that bothered me. Bothered me.
So I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So you're saying like you saw it and you were like, what the hell? And then you saw the next tweet, you were like, oh, I see what you were doing.
Yeah, I see what you were trying to do, but you got it wrong on this. And people said, hey, we see what you were trying to do, but you got it wrong on this. That was the conversation, right?
Yeah.
But then it did become and that's what these spaces can do. It became very hateful. And then people started creating another narrative for what it was. And they thought they were doing something good. We corrected them on it. And here goes everybody else saying, just like you guys to be sexist and to be this and to be that and to be that, when they were not trying to be sexist.
My thing is that when I think of culinary school, the last place I think about is Burger King. Right. And I just don't think if it had been like some exquisite 5-star, whatever dining experience where they're known for chefs in the kitchen, I could dig it. I'm just not really inclined to really feel okay about Burger King doing that because ain't no real culinary skills going into the kitchen area of Burger King. Not knocking the labor there.
It takes a lot to char grill a burger.
Brother, let me tell you, I've spent some years. I've burnt my hand plenty of times on the McDonald's grills, right? So I get it is hard work back there in them sweaty hot kitchens trying to put them sandwiches together. That said, I don't know if they actually. I think they just try to cover their ass. I think somebody tweeted. I think somebody from their company tweeted something dumb and got a hold of the social media account. Because that happens, right? You have people who get a hold of these social media accounts and they try to sabotage their entire company by saying something. And I think they came up with this scholarship in response to try to fix it. That's just me. I hate to be conspiracy theorist.
The scholarship was actually a part of the thread. That information was already in the thread. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So I went through it and I was
I'll come up with a real quick scholarship to cover my butt too.
No, but it all was together. I know it's easy for us to choose, and you know me, I'll be ready to choose it too. But I know it's easy for us to choose violence, but in this case, because I read through it, I had to really hold myself accountable too. I can't be a part of this conversation if that's not how I feel. They did try it with the first tweet, and I think that they were, and it's on Women's International Women's
of all days.
They did that because they thought they were contributing to the conversation. Women belong in the kitchen. We want to make sure that they too have an opportunity to go to culinary school because they don't get that opportunity at the rate of the men and things like that. So that was a conversation they should have started with.
Double that amount, Burger King. Y'all got a lot of recompense to make up.
And just get it right. Put somebody else. And y'all created those. Y'all ain't doing that over there in the UK. The cultural diversity thing that's going around. Put somebody in the room. Put somebody in the room, and that's all I have to say.
Do you? Okay, so let's ask about that because I do you think it was could a woman possibly have even been in the room when that tweet was written?
Yeah, no, I believe so. And maybe the woman, because we don't see Burger King. Okay. We don't see Burger King as a woman, right? We don't look at Burger King and say, okay, this is a woman. So
I don't look at that tweet and think of it as a woman.
Yeah, and it could have been a woman that tweeted that, and she thought, okay,
trying to be edgy.
Yeah, it could have been that. And if we knew, okay. Yeah, and if Bubba, if you say anything about the LGBTQIA community, it'll be okay from you, right? If I say something about my Haitian community, that'll be okay from me, and y'all better not come from my Haitian community. But if I say something about my community, it'll be okay coming from me, or be more respected coming from me. Now, and so I think they maybe should have had a visual, something. So now they know for better. They know next time, maybe have a video out there and do that instead of going to the girl in the chef coat or something.
Could Wendy's have gotten away? Could Wendy's have sent that out and gotten away with it, since everybody thinks of Wendy's as a woman?
No, I don't think of I don't think of Wendy's as a woman either. I see her father.
I just see the red. I just think it was. I think it was somebody trying to be edgy in a marketing campaign and just really messed it up.
And it just went wrong. But I think the attack that they created on the UK Burger King. Now I don't know.
Well, we were just mad at the UK anyway. We were mad because they were messing up like with the Meghan Markle.
It's a result of us being like, hell really no, y'all racist, sexist, y'all trash. And then that show, Small Axis on I don't know which one it's on. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu or one of them. But whatever. Small Axis had me like, oh, that's how they get down over there.
So we were already our trigger finger was already itchy right there.
They was ready to go. They was like, oh yeah, we gonna get them.
I got one more clip that I think we could probably all agree on this one. Papa John's, the guy who founded Papa John's. He was on OAN. I think it was I forgot what it stands for, but he wanted to reassure the public that he's not going to use the N-word anymore, and it just didn't really come off the way he thought it was going to come off. Let's take a look at that clip.
Take me back to a few years ago when you start to see these headlines coming out and smearing your good name. How did you feel at the time when you were seeing these headlines?
State of shock. Unbelievable. I couldn't understand it. I mean, again, you have a public board that paints its chairman complicit, passive, or active. They paint the founder as a racist. They know he's not a racist. It's just unbelievable. And I used to lay in bed just going, how did they do this? And we've had 3 goals for the last 20 months to get rid of this N-word in my vocabulary and dictionary and everything else because it's just not true. Figure out how they did this and get on with my life. If Papa John's would just say, hey, we got in a hurry, we didn't follow proper.
So he slid it in there. He said they've been working on the last 20 months to not use the N-word. He prefaced that by saying, how did they label me a racist? It only took me 20 months to get the N-word out of my vocabulary.
That's damn near 2 years. It took you 2 years.
Y'all didn't see the hair dye and the eyebrow dye?
I saw it.
It was giving. It was the Rudy Giuliani thing was about to happen real quick. You know, when you lie, what happens? It starts sweat. Oh,
I'm just wondering.
The Lord said no.
He did probably say.
What kind of exercises do you do to not say them? Because I mean, I don't do those exercises.
I got you.
How do you not say the N-word? And what do you go through 20 months, James? How do you do 20 months of practice? What do you do?
You look at another black person in the face, you say, you goddamn ninja, you knucklehead, you nincompoop. You just say all the NI words and you just try to get out your vocabulary.
You sure that's what they say?
Stop saying it. Oh no, I think they say it, nigga. Put the strong ER on the end of it.
So progress for them is I said it with an A at the end. I didn't use a hard ER. So
I didn't use the hard ER.
I didn't say it in public.
The first 10 months is transitioning from the hard ER to the A. Right? So you start listening to hip hop music. So for the first 10 months, you start listening to hip hop music. And then how do you go from not saying it? So yeah, man, you racist, bro.
Who?
Shaq.
You bring up goddamn. That's it, Dwayne.
Dang. You bring in Shaq because Shaq is on the board now. Wow.
Yep.
Diversity and inclusion.
So is Shaq in there training him? Is it like he's training for the All-Star game of not saying the N-word?
Maybe that's what it is. Shaq is training him. Shaq is his trainer.
Shaq works for Papa John. That's what he was giving me. He was giving me big White House white man voice. You know, the big White House and those little really sketchy parts of Savannah. They're beautiful, historical, but they definitely give plantation vibes. Sometimes if I go a little far off in my area where I live, I see those homes and I turn right around and I find another route for me to go to. But that's what the Papa John's owner, he was giving me those vibes as he was discussing these situations. So
I don't know how anyway. I got nothing else on that, bro. The real problem is the only pizza place close to my house is Papa John's. So unfortunately, I still, he's getting some of our money still.
Are they from Kentucky? My best friend just texted me. She said Papa John's is an embarrassment to Kentucky. Is that a Kentucky thing? Because y'all got a lot of embarrassments in Kentucky. That's so sad. Because Daniel Cameron. Okay.
You can't cancel an entire state, Rebecca.
No. My friend, there are a lot of great things in Kentucky because she's introduced me to them. But the fact that they always, you know how when something happens in Florida, we'd be like, please don't be Florida, please.
No, please, and it's Florida.
Yeah. It's always Florida. That's what Kentucky is actually going through right now. And it's like they have, Muhammad Ali to go. Like they have good things that come from there. Like, but here we are. Like they got Bryson Tiller. They got great things. But here we are with these folks that's representing them and in the media. Now it's really sad, especially for Daniel Cameron to be.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't go.
Go ahead, Rebecca. I already know.
The Lord stop me. Why my camera didn't go off right now? The Lord stop me.
Go ahead, Rebecca, because I know my friend so well. What about Daniel Cameron, Rebecca, for him to be so what?
A band.
Okay.
A BAN, and y'all figure it out.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. I know. No, I thought you were gonna go somewhere else. Okay. Go ahead.
Nah, but
for him to be stepping and fetching so hard, yeah. For
him to be, I don't know if I can say that word either. It's a lot of coonery happening, and I hate that it's happening in the beautiful state of Kentucky. But Kentucky is one of those areas that
don't cancel a whole state. We got supporters from Kentucky.
My best friend is from Kentucky. She's a good woman, and she has a beautiful baby boy. That's right.
You sound like one of them racists that said, "I got black friends."
I got black friends in Kentucky. But the world never sees what built Kentucky, and I'm pretty sure it's those black folks in those communities. But as we know, especially in those southern areas, even though that's up there, in those areas where it's really country or whatever, we know what goes on over there. That's why Daniel Cameron is marrying who he's marrying. That's why Breonna Taylor doesn't have justice. That is why. So you know what? Don't get me started.
Yeah, because you turned the corner and we got, and because when you bring up our sister, like it's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. So y'all, I got a question. So is it the same thing like when white people say, "Oh, I have black friends"? Does it get the same response if black people say like, "Oh, I have white friends"?
Nah, but I ain't say I have white friends. I got black friends and I'm black. I got black friends that live in Kentucky that deserve what they deserve. Like they can't be around here in Kentucky and being treated like less than because Kentucky is some kind of other place that was overly colonized with white folks and white leaders, and black folks feel like they have to coon.
Wait a minute. When's the last, Rebecca? What happened to you in Kentucky? Did you get pulled over in Kentucky?
Something happened.
Breonna Taylor happened to.
I know Breonna Taylor.
And because my girlfriend lives over there, and to me, she had to experience so much racism at the job that she worked at. She was on the Crown Act. Shout out to Edina Kiera Johnson. That's my best friend.
The whole
but she worked in a place, and I can't say the place, but she worked at a place where she worked at the place where she had a high position, but was treated like trash. First of all, as a black woman, was told that her hair wasn't, because she had braids and had some blondes in her hair. She was told that her hair was not acceptable, but then had other people, white women in there running around with their hair being some kind of way. And then the workers, the employees would come to her because she worked in HR and would tell her their experience with the racism with the higher up. So she had a lot happening over there, and she finally was able to share her story on what you guys should check out is about the Crown Act. And she was finally able to tell her story, and the documentary happened on BT. When you see that woman there telling her story, that's my best friend. But yes, Those things are things that happen, and it bothers me. Yes. So when I do think about things about Kentucky and about the Black people that are being pushed to the side and treated like dirt, yeah, I think about that. I think about all those things. Kentucky should no.
But I mean, and I'm not discounting anything that you're saying.
And
right.
then
let me preface
from
with
there. And
oh boy, which
is it McConnell or
Mitch McConnell? Yeah. I'm not discounting anything that you're saying about Kentucky, but Rebecca, everything that you listed literally happened to us here in Atlanta on our job.
You're right.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I've experienced it. I've never known anything about Kentucky. My best friend is the one that introduced me to it, right?
Yeah.
And all I thought, it's just country. But then when I went over there, I'm like, dang, they getting the same treatment and this and that is happening over there as well. And I just felt like.
Did you go recently? Have you been
more people? No, but I'm going again.
Okay.
I'm going to go because she's having a baby.
Okay. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. So shout out to everybody in Kentucky. Rebecca at least has one friend in Kentucky. I don't know if she's going to get any more, but she's got one good friend in Kentucky. So shout out to them. But I didn't know Papa John was from. The
headquarters is in Kentucky.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I mean. Keep the work up. I think he probably needs about 10 more months. That light went out.
It went out.
Is that? You know what? The clock knew what time it was. The light knew what time it was. We were just gonna keep on going. So this is a good place as any since her light went out. James,
Rebecca's just having
The Lord is like, Rebecca, hush it up now. Stop putting
people and to stop putting people's entire government names on the internet like that.
On the
internet. I was waiting for the Social Security number to come up next. That's it. Hey, folks, it's been a good one. It's been a long one. Rebecca, James, which I got. James is going to be in your hands. I've got nothing. Y'all know where to follow me.
Love you guys. Mean it. Find me on Twitter at Rebecca Azor, RebeccaAzor. And make sure you tune in here every Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 10:30-ish a.m. And we'll be here giving you the news in our way, whether you like it or not. See you guys tomorrow. Love you. Mean it.
Brother Ben, you said you ain't got nothing?
No, I got nothing, man.
Stop bringing him back. Y'all, this is what y'all gonna stop doing. When I end it, cut it.
Bring me back. I got a whole. Let me give a closing statement.
Look, let me stop the music right quick.
I feel like I need to say something. Put me back on a one shot. Let me tell y'all something.
Why are we still here?
Because we love you, Rebecca. All right, James, it's in your hands. We out of here.
Bye.
We go.
Man, I can't stand y'all. Okay. Oh, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the show today, y'all. I know I did, man. It feels so good being back, man. I missed y'all. I missed y'all so much, man. So this is going to be the one song, because of course you know what that means. Corporate America is coming up next. And free Bubba and free Rebecca. Free Bubba and free Rebecca, because we sick of this.
Covering these feelings, going through changes.
All right, so y'all make sure that y'all hit that like button on your way out, man. Make sure that you comment, share, and subscribe, y'all, so you know when like it or not it's going down.
Knowing you won't read it before we get too far away.
Nikki, good morning.
I'd rather just tweet it and delete it.
And make sure that you tune in tomorrow when we have Akila Lacey coming in, and also Barry Williams. I'm trying to look at the screen, y'all, to see. That's why I zoomed in so close.
Rewind.
Oh, Purple Rain Hearts, I appreciate that.
Tell me what choice I have now. I just wanna get it right with you. But if we try to talk about it, our history says we'll just argue. And I know you're gonna act a fool, and then no one could tell the difference between me and you, babe. Watching from a distance, hiding these feelings.
All right, y'all, and make sure that if you want to become a patron, y'all get exclusive ad-free content and also access to the patron parties that go down. Make sure that you join patreon.com/thebpd show. Patreon.com/thebpd show, y'all. Don't want to miss it. I guarantee you, it's a trip every time.
Before we we cross the line and we reach a point we can't rewind. Maybe I need some space.
All right, y'all. It's gonna do it for your boy James Bubba Williams again, y'all. It was so great being back this morning, and of course I'll see y'all in the morning. Shout out to all our guests that came on today, y'all. Had an awesome show, so make sure that you stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to bring the politics, the funny, the culture, all of that, so make sure that you keep it locked right here, y'all. DJ Exclusive is out, like it or not. We'll see y'all in the morning. Mwah. Deuces. Shout out Sensation. Bye, mama.